many people in the world who really don't understand. Freedom has many difficulties, but we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in. Freedom is indivisible. And when one man is enslaved, all are not free.
Modern war has become a struggle for men's minds as well as for their bodies. Today we face an enemy who spends enormous sums of money and manpower all over the globe in an attempt to subvert the thinking of the people of the free world, to confuse, divide, and ultimately to subjugate.
It is a contest unlike any we have ever faced in our history as a nation.
Contest for the minds and hearts of people around the world, all people.
When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. We must never forget that art is not a form of propaganda. It is a form of truth.
Psychologists find that control of emotion can be gained by understanding the stimulus-response pattern. Many everyday things become associated with these primary stimuli, partly by a process called conditioning.
It's a strange, shadowy world. The doctored photograph, the misquotation, the insinuation, and the lie.
I think of fire in connection with emotion. Cause, effect.
You've got to get a hold of yourself.
We have to work together. You have to help.
We'll light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
Yes, in modern warfare, our military leaders are finding that words and ideas are highly effective weapons.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of the host, producers, or any affiliated organization. This podcast may include sensitive discussion related to topics such as child protection, abuse, and criminal behavior. The content is intended for informational, educational, and awareness purposes only, does not constitute legal, medical, or professional advice. Any reference to individuals, cases, or events are based on personal perspective, professional experience, or publicly available information and should not be interpreted as statements of fact regarding any specific person or situation. The host, speakers, and producers disclaim any liability for actions taken by listeners based on the content of this podcast. Listeners are encouraged to seek qualified professional guidance for their specific circumstances. Listeners' discretion is advised. All individuals are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. All right. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Blount County Breakdown. You believe we got 11 on Rumble already, guys?
That's great.
It's great. Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's Tuesday, 9 o'clock. We probably get started a little bit late, but you don't realize what it takes to add all that stuff. And Facebook's a real pain in the ass, I'll just tell you. If you don't add a description to the show, it will not let you go live until you do. So when you're in the middle of trying to get all that stuff to click at the same time and get it to go live, then if you don't have that already preset, and you can't, it's weird. If you try to set an event or something like that and then walk into it live, it does something different. But anyway, how are you all doing this evening?
Well, I'm here.
All right, Jason. You're muted. That's what it says. You're muted. Anyway, that's Jason, guys. He's going to be doing sign language tonight.
Get some ASL in there.
Oh, yeah. We ought to be able to hear you now, right, Jace?
Yeah.
There he is. All right. That's kind of funny. Oh, look here. I should have put my phone on silent. Imagine that's a phone call. Can't answer that one at the moment. So, anyway,
old school phone.
I like that old ring. You know, that's what I got it set to. So, but yeah. Anyway, hello, Blount County. Welcome to Blount County Breakdown. It's all of us on here. We call the episodes Felon and Friends. We got the idea from, well, I don't know, somebody with a fake account whose name I won't say, but it was a great name. We thought, well, we'll just go ahead and say thank you because we're going to use it probably for the remainder of time. You know what I mean? So, but this is where we talk down, you know, what is it? The barriers, all that good stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That was institutional breakdowns in some cases. And then I think after the elections are over, some of this will slow down. It'll probably be hard to find something to talk about for a few weeks. That's not because there's something every day, every single day. Something is going on out there in the county, whether it's Townsend or Louisville or Alcoa and Maryville. Have you seen the stuff that Kevin McNeil's talking about? Was it in 2050 the mergering? What they're going to do with the police, the fire, the school system, all that kind of stuff. I don't have that as a topic for tonight, although it should be something probably talked about in the future for sure. But just you should see the people's reactions. They're quite interesting. You should not allow your emotions to control your fingers. It creates mass hysteria. So, no one else got nothing to say?
Oh, I'm sure it'll come when we get into it.
All right. So, we're going to talk a little bit about gatekeepers. We're going to talk a little bit about what was it? You have to be that word came up again. Thank you, Chris. Bona fide. To vote?
To vote, yeah.
Vote. Okay. And to me, that's like a huge red flag for people out there that want to vote, because that is a scare tactic. That is a voter suppression. That's a narrative. And guess what? That narrative is almost all across the state of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. When we seen it on Facebook with, who's it first, Robert? Was it
maybe the Blount County Republican Party?
The Knoxville,
and then Knoxville News Sentinel came out with something. I thought the Daily Times, but I couldn't find anything from the Daily. Did you? Maybe. Okay, maybe. But then I got to looking in a little further, and it was like, other communities, other counties, headed towards Nashville and all that. Their local news outlet, whether it was by paper or social media or, television, they were talking about, is it a TCA? Is that what they're actually calling that thing?
Tennessee Code Annotated.
Annotated, that's right. So we'll talk about that for a little bit, or probably more than a little bit, because, it's almost like the tax appraisal and the, property hike, you know what I mean? So, we got a lot of people wondering. I mean, I heard people that, over the last day or two talking about they didn't know if they were going to go vote. They would have. And I'm like, are you crazy? What are they going to do to you? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So, again, because I think that, anyway, then the vote was illegal by Christina Delaney. And, man, That's amazing. She is going to come on eventually and discuss that, but I think it's going to be closer to when they reset the date, where it goes before, because first they have to post it, I think. Anyway, I'll read the thing so I don't take it out of context and make it sound like. But she did a fantastic job in finding a missed step, I guess is probably the right way to say that. You know what I mean? And which made the vote null and void. So
Good on her. Good
good
on
for
her.
her. That's right.
Yeah,
Good for her.
for
So
sure.
we're going to talk a little bit about that. So we got James in the chat. Innocent until proven guilty. What's that mean? He's talking about our little our disclaimer there at the very, very end. Yeah. We added that because like when Blount County Sheriff Department deputies get in trouble, and when they post it on social media, at the very bottom of the statement, they make sure that you understand that that officer is innocent until proven guilty. So we add that to make sure that everybody understands that we're all innocent until proven guilty. And I think mostly it's for people that listen to the show that don't like some of the things that they hear and they act out because of it, which there's been a little bit of that, it's weird because before all of this began, I really had not a whole lot of people saying much of anything. And then now you have a lot of people that like what you say, and then you have like 4 or 5 that just don't. And they just seem to be louder than all of the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? And so you almost want to spend a little bit of time defending it, but then as it goes on, you're just like, it's probably not best to defend it at all, So, but it's amazing to me. And then I think the last thing we'll talk about before we go is that the Katie Goins come back up again in the news cycle. So, and again, it's all public information. So that's what we get to do here is share it, and then we get to chat about it and talk about it. And so I think that's what we ought to do. What do you guys say?
Hell yeah, dude.
Anybody got any insight yet? Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. So most of it's on Facebook, right?
Yeah, that's a majority that I've seen.
I got to get to my saved section here. There we go.
Is Katie Goins still teaching?
Let's see.
No.
I don't
She was
think
removed
so.
by Justin Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when he took over. Yeah.
She went to Heritage and then she got removed from there.
Did her license get suspended?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess hopefully I can get that article to pull up that I sent to everybody in the link in our group text, but we'll get into that in a second. I guess maybe try to save it for the end.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll pull up what the Blount County Republican Party, what they had to say there at the very beginning. What do you think?
Yeah, you got that?
Sure. I do.
That's some Gestapo stuff.
Well, I actually got the original one too. So, do we want to be on screen with it or off screen, guys?
Oh, they'll probably see it.
Okay.
It's off.
With his off.
It's not.
How's that? Spotlight?
Yeah.
Okay. It says, in light of recent discussions in the community regarding primary voting, the Republican Party of Blount County would like to remind its members and the public that voting in the Republican primary is for individuals who are either bona fide members of the Republican Party, affiliated with the Republican Party, or intending to declare their allegiance to the Republican Party. While we welcome and encourage anyone to join the Republican Party, soliciting votes from members or of other parties or individuals not affiliated with a party is improper and illegal for the Republican primary. So it says it's a violation of Tennessee Code annotated section 2-7- 115, I guess, B, and punishable as a crime under Tennessee Code, annotated Section 2-19-102 or Section 2-19-107. I don't know that I would like reading that all the time. If a person votes in a political party's primary without being a bona fide member of or affiliated with the political party, or to declare allegiance to that party without the intent to affiliate with that party. Is that the most confusing crap you ever heard?
Yeah, and I'm still looking to see if that actually applies to voters, because I thought the bona fide, from what I read in the by rules, just applied to candidates.
That was my understanding as well.
Are they going to look up every voter that walks up their
That's another thing I looked
bona fide
into.
status?
That's another thing I looked into, is they're not supposed to be able to see who a particular person voted for.
Do you want me to pull up what you had? What you shared, Robert?
You can.
Let me see if I can. Does it take me out of that? Where's that? Right there.
Yeah,
no, that's not it, is it?
Yeah.
Hang on.
What?
That's not it. That's not what you had. Do you have it? Because it might take me a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot going on in this chat. It says William Goen said he's got some important info.
I forgot to call him.
On how deputies have been trained to handle the pedos. Welcome, everybody. We got Sean Collins, James Richard, Alan Latham. Look here. Sean Collins says Jacob Weatherly's a fake accountant here yet. He never misses Felon and Friends. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I apparently am that lady's only follower. Alan says not yet, but maybe a late night at work. And then Timothy Effler, welcome, Timothy. I wrote a post about the debunking of all of this BS. This says, I think it's actually in that. And then he actually posts the link in the Facebook. I also have information that I haven't written about because I've recently voted and I didn't like what happened at the booth. That's very interesting. So, yeah. And then Kim says, I heard a Democrat commissioner from somewhere in Knoxville is being sued for voting Republican in election. And I think that her name...
Durrett, I think. I was looking at that lady earlier. What was her name? Durrett. Courtney Roberts Durrett. So I guess she's a Democrat, and she's going to go vote in the Republican primary because there's not other options for certain.
So it's odd to me because... Go ahead.
This right here says crossover voting is already illegal in Tennessee.
I think Robert got frozen.
Fine up to $1,000.
Secret ballot means no one can find out how a person voted unless the voter chooses to share that information. Which I don't know if they may have you sign some kind of waiver or something when you go in the voting booth. An eligible citizen must provide identifying information to register to vote and to receive a ballot. But the ballot itself does not contain personally identifiable information because ballots are designed this way. No one, including election workers who count the votes, can see how a specific voter voted. Voters who cast ballots in person fill out their ballots privately, typically in a polling booth or behind a screen. After voters make their selections, they put their anonymous ballot into a sealed container or scan it directly into a vote counting machine. In either case, the ballot becomes mixed with others, further ensuring the anonymity of each voter's ballot. So, I mean, that's just one thing, and there's a lot of things out there that says the same thing. Everybody can do their own research on that, but that's what I've found, and it's telling me that you can go out there and vote, and rest assured that is secret.
I even talked about that. I even said it was a post I had. It seems like a week ago about odd to me about the, the ballot's supposed to be secret, but yet you put signs out in your front yard.
Yeah.
You get on Facebook and like the gatekeepers I call. By gosh, you better not talk about their candidate because they're going to be on there, letting you know real quick right away that that's what you shouldn't be talking about. And then if you bring up a thing about a debate, oh my gosh, debates are like so bad. It's just like, when did debates come bad? I mean, that was the whole point of the political landscape, was to make sure that you could step out before the public and talk about what it was that you wanted to do when you were elected in that position to help whatever. And if it could surpass the, I don't know, public opinion, if you could stand on it, right?
Maybe,
But no. They would much rather have meet and greets and coffee and calls and stuff like that. And then when the numbers are up, Kevin McNeil, am I saying that right?
Yep, Kevin J.
Okay.
McNeil.
Okay, he's put out the stats where it comes to early voting. Appears that the numbers are twice as high as in other primaries, and then you get this from the Republican Party, right? I mean, a Blount County that to me is a it's a form of voter suppression.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Is that you? Let me do this. No.
You're on my page. I don't think I have it.
That's me now there. Okay.
I thought I stopped sharing.
Yours is still down. There you go. So, yeah. So they put this out 2 days ago, and obviously, I mean, the comments go crazy. See, there's Timothy Effler, there's Crystal Jackson Mizell, Matt Snow, goes on and on and on. Kathy Wilkerson. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and everybody's got their own opinion, and this is exactly what it was designed to do, was to make everybody put their opinion on there and to create this, I don't want to call it division, because I don't think it's division. I think it's healthy debate, conflict. This right here is not a bad thing. Some people might think it is. To me, it's not a bad thing. I am absolute on freedom of speech and Second Amendment type stuff. So I would never, ever delete any of this, would never remove anybody, because their comments, whether you agree with or you don't agree with, they all have some meaning to what's going on right here. You know what I mean? And so it just makes no sense. And the only thing I can think of is it's a narrative. And like I said, when I looked up at other counties in the state, not all of them, but a good portion of them were following the same thing. You know what I mean? Almost like it's a script that was handed out to the news agencies, to, hey, you might want to remind people that, if you show up and vote and you're not bona fide, or you didn't affiliate with a party. So when I vote, I have to put something down on, especially like in the presidential election, I believe, Republican, Democrat, or Independent. You have to pick one. Seems like when I voted in the presidential one, anyway. I guess I'm going to find out soon, May 5th, about how this one's going to work. But I'm not that. I think it's a uniparty. I think they're all together. I think they're, especially from the federal level on down to the state level, that they get on that floor and they argue about certain things, and then when they're done, they're at the restaurant shaking hands, sharing pictures, talking about each other's family get-togethers, this, that, and the out, because they're all together for the same thing. They're just trying to make it look like as though that they're not, But in the end, none of it goes for anything that we are asking for. You know what I mean? So I'll stop sharing this. Hang on before I do that, because it'll mess me up. There we go. Let's.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to send a certain message across with it when they start quoting TCAs and stuff like that, laws. Maybe, that's against the law. You can face jail time.
See that? That's Camden, Tennessee. It's the law. This is absolute trash. If you see these, do not be worried. It's a tactic to scare people. Tennessee has open primaries. You can primary anyone you want. You are not legally or in any way contractually obligated to vote for that party or candidate on the day of the election. So it looks like somebody posted that sign on a door without.
Yeah, this is
know.
definitely coordinated. Probably something sent down from Nashville, saying it's in other counties would be my guess.
Well, this one right here. This is what I wrote. Maybe I'm wrong, but we have open primaries. This is a tactic, a narrative that's being pushed to stop people from voting, in my opinion. In Blount County, the numbers at the early polls are up. How convenient that this information is being pushed. Go vote. What are they really going to do? And this is from the Knoxville News Sentinel. And it says it's a misdemeanor to vote in a party's primary election. Now, this is a Democrat right here. If you read the article, because there's no real, so they go in there.
There's no Democrats running. They don't have anybody to vote for.
It says it's Senate Bill 777.
I was hoping it would pull the article up and not take me completely back to their page, but it's apparently what they want us to do. Hang on 1 second until I find it. Right here, the Republicans are asking the DA to look into whether Courtney Durrett's ballot choice, is that the one we were talking about? I'll come back to that one just a second. Hang on. Goodness, where is it at? It should have just took me right to the article, you know. Boy, the Knoxville News Sentinel really sucks. You know that? Do you see all the garbage that's on there? That's why I don't watch any of this. Right here. See more. Oh, you got to go in there. It's got 237 comments.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can only
now
see
share this again.
paragraphs.
Hang on, guys. I'll get to the. You see what's going on in the chat? Anybody see the Facebook chat? It's going crazy. I can't keep up with it. It says Knox County Commissioner Courtney Durrett voted in the Republican primary for the 26th county election. Why is it newsworthy? Durrett, who represents parts of northeast Knoxville, including Fountain City and Willow Springs, is a Democrat. I talked to a guy, I forget who it was, on a post. I was sharing his stuff, and he asked me why I was sharing this stuff. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, you guys can see it, can you? Can you see it now? How about that? She said, this is the only way I could have a say in my county sheriff and my county clerk. Durrett said in the video she posted on Facebook, those seats have a candidate, so when this primary is over, that's it. They will be the only name on the general election. This Republican primary is where those two seats are chosen. If you go watch her video, it's like 5 minutes, 46 seconds long. She goes into detail about she didn't have many options.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it makes you wonder. When I was talking to the gentleman, gosh, where is it at? Let me go back. I think he thought he was gonna be mad at me or whatever, and he wanted to know why if I had a problem with this stuff, and I was like, no, but you got a problem with me sharing? He was like, no, and I was like, the only reason I'm sharing it was because I think it's neat that you are a Democrat talking about how you're going to vote in a Republican primary when the Blount County Republican thing just came out and said it was a misdemeanor if you did that. And
Well, that was Wildsmith.
he's
I
like,
got the warm
exactly. And I
fuzzies
thought, well, that was
reading
pretty.
that. Timothy
What's that?
Effler. Oh, I said I got the warm fuzzies reading the messaging between you and Wildsmith. And in the comments, we've got Timothy Effler. He says the Tennessee statutes they list were originally designed to prevent election manipulation from another party, preventing them from mass voting for a terrible opposite party candidate. So to like kind of offset the election. So say if that Durrett woman over in Knoxville, she's a Democrat, and she wanted to vote for the worst Republican, so it would make her chances at getting in easier. That's what's not legal, but the way they're muddying the TCA, the annotated thing, is it's not cool to try and suppress voters like that. They're doing it kind of gaslighty.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what's up.
It's designed that way. It's designed
Yeah.
to scare people and make people not come vote.
Right.
Or not vote for
So we got the Blount.
To.
To me, it's a suppression. I'm sure we're all saying the same thing, just in our own way, right?
Yeah.
Then you got Blount Accountability Project that Crystal shared.
Yeah, they get some
pull it
good
up.
stuff up there sometimes.
Yeah, them
They have a
guys do,
small
man.
following,
So
but he's got some good stuff to say.
I'll say this. I think between the podcast and some of these other ones that have come out, Kevin J, and a few others whose names I think we've kind of made enough noise out there to wake some people up to see some things that's been going on, even just a little bit. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does, maybe it don't. So, but it says accountability alert, understanding your rights at the ballot box. And the recent statement from the Republican Party of Blount County regarding primary voting is, frankly, a classic case of selective legal framing. While they've quoted the law, they've conveniently left out the reality of how Tennessee's open primary system actually functions for the average voter. And so it's hard not to see that this is a calculated move to protect incumbents by discouraging independent-minded voters from participating. And here's what you need to know, and I couldn't disagree with that at all. You know what I mean? Despite the bona fide language cited, Tennessee does not have a formal party registration. You don't check a box when you register to vote that locks you into a party for life. The power of the voter. Under state law, you have the right to request a primary ballot of your choice. By requesting that ballot, you are declaring your allegiance for that specific election. The voter police myth. There is no allegiance test at the polling station. That's funny.
On my honor.
What's honorable about that shit anyway? I don't think there's anything honorable. Protecting incumbents. This is the part that I like, right? Because I really believe this is what this is doing, is protecting incumbents. The same way with doing meet and greets and coffee and calls over. So the meet and greets are the Republican thing, and the coffee and calls are the Democratic thing. So if you can't make it to their little cookie and coffee at the Democratic thing, then you can call them and they'll answer the phone. We can do the same thing on this podcast. Did you know that? But I think that's probably not a good idea. Voter suppression by intimidation, which is what I said when I very first saw that, was that it's a form of voter suppression, because as soon as it happened, what we hear from people that we even know? Oh no, what are they going to do if they find out? Nothing. Not a damn thing. As a matter of fact, I'll say this. Barong and the rest of them are absolutely depending on that.
Yeah, I would say so.
Now, that's what I would say. They're depending on that. The ones that aren't campaigning, the Moons, the Barongs, they're busy. They're out there. They're working candidates, so they just don't have time to go door to door or anything like that. You know what I mean? But just know that they got all your best interests at heart. You know what I mean? And this is exactly what they wanted to see, because in the early voting, the numbers are up. And if the numbers are up, that doesn't look good for them, because I go back to what I say. They have this, they have their number of people. They know, I got 7,946 votes in the bag automatically, no matter what is said out there on Facebook, right? So I'll go one step further. Debates, okay, so they don't want to do debates, right? So we do meet and greets, right? So what's Barong's reason for not doing meet and greets? He did one so far, right? Nothing else since then, correct? Not that I'm aware of. I think somebody posted some stuff today about the cops all being somewhere, the department, and there was no Barong. He's working, okay? He's out there working. He's got your best. I mean, he's working, okay? He's working his ass off. He can't even be at these events that every other deputy in town's at, okay? So last year, somewhere around October-ish, somewhere, him and Jerry Burns were invited to do an interview with WBIR in Knoxville, Tennessee. Yep. They came to Jerry's dojo in Maryville, if I'm saying that correctly, and they set up. And they spent an hour with him talking about all things what he wanted to do with the sheriff's department. And guess who declined to do the interview?
Was it Barong? Was it?
Barong. Because Barong wouldn't do the interview, guess what WBIR didn't do?
They can't publish what they got with Jerry, because if they don't have one from each of them, then they're obligated to not show either, I guess.
That's crazy.
So I say put an empty seat there. And then you put a memo there with the picture of the incumbent that says, we gave him the opportunity to come and he chose to decline, right? I mean, that's my opinion.
They could at least send a spokesperson for himself.
Here's the other problem that I got, because Barong, the other thing was, my computer's stupid. Hang on. Entire screen. There we go. This.
We just talking about early voting too,
share.
So like the tally is up.
Yeah, hang on one second. Watch this right here. What do you guys think about this right here? See that? See that big old girl? She's standing in front of a camera. And that's Jerry Burns standing in front of his Foothills Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And they took time out of his day to spend an hour to interview with him about all things that were important to him to run for sheriff for Blount County, Tennessee. But the other guy felt like he didn't have to be there, which makes no sense to me. So wait, let's look at this picture right here. Because he's a working sheriff. He's out there. He's busy. I mean, he's just, he's
totally in his office.
I understand why he's got I understand why he's got 8,000 consistent voters that show up every 4 years for him. But he can't show up for 1 hour to debate this man. See that? Who's that? That's somebody from WBIR. I really believe that's Libby Cunningham. I could be wrong. The reason I say that I could be wrong is because Libby Cunningham, I sent a message to her through Facebook at her Facebook page, and then I actually called the station and left a message for her, and she declined to come on too. So she is a little bit like Sheriff Barong. They must share the same thing, as far as if they feel like they don't have to answer a question, well, they just don't have to show up for that, So I just thought it was important for people to know that Jerry's not got nothing to hide. You want to talk to Jerry about things that are important to you in the community, all you have to do is reach out to him. If you're cordial to him, liable to meet you somewhere and and sit down and talk that way. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to get that out of Barong? I don't know. everything I've asked about so far, I have yet to have a response back to. I know that there's a whole bunch of commissioners out there that will say one thing off camera, and but on camera they are almost voting for Barong every single time. That's a problem for me because if you're bothered by it off camera, then it should be something that you should say when you were on camera. I don't understand that they're having all these meet and greets and they're not inviting any of the sheriffs. Was it the East Tennessee Conservative Group or whatever they're called? That church. Why didn't they have a Barong or a Burns on stage? I know they claim that they invited every candidate out there, but they only invited the ones that were members, right? Which, and that's fine. I'm not saying anything against any of these others, but it's odd that they have all these people together, and yet there's no sheriff in either, and none. I mean, none of them. We have all of these. There's a billboard out there that's saying, "Vote for these people." You got ads out there. You got commissioners promoting other commissioners in different districts to vote, but nobody's talking about the sheriffs, not either one. Isn't that kind of odd? They got mayor. They're telling you, hey, this is their pick for mayor. This is their pick for register of deeds. This is their pick for county clerk. Court clerk is Cantrell. Nobody's going against him. Hedrick is the highway department. Nobody's going against him, and all these other things. But nobody's telling you if they're going for Barong or Burns. That should raise a few questions, right? I mean, to me, I would say that's
a choice. Silence is a choice.
Okay, silence is a choice. I'll take that.
Is a reason. There's a reason they're being silent. I know that McNeil guy. It was not related to the sheriff race, but it was on another topic. And what really stood out was silence is a choice on, that particular topic. But we see that the silence is a choice on many other topics, and this is certainly one of them.
Right. I know there's a lot of people out there that think Barong did a fantastic job for 37 years, okay? And there's probably... there's probably a good argument to that. There's 50-50, okay? They're going to say the people that are complaining the most are the ones that have been arrested for some reason like that, that didn't have or may have had their, just things didn't go, way arrest is supposed to go in your mind perceived, you know what I mean? So, and that's fine too. Everybody has their own opinion. My opinion is 37 years. If he wins the election and then he decides to retire in 2 years, then they appoint somebody. You don't have anybody on the commission talking about who they're voting for sheriff, not publicly at least. I haven't seen yet, right? But if he decides to retire, then you're going to have the commission vote for who is appointed, or there's no special election that's taking place so that the people of the county can vote. Since Jerry Burns was the only one that ran against him, if he decides to retire, should that just fall automatically on Jerry Burns? Obviously, that's no rule anywhere that anybody, but these are just questions that I'm throwing out there. Some might say that them are not common sense. Some say they are common sense. I don't know. But what I do know is I wonder in 2 years is if he's just going to retire and go play golf somewhere, and then we're stuck with whoever they're grooming for the next position for the next 37 years. And we're already getting that in, the county clerk's office, right? I mean, Alan Latham is running for that office, and the gentleman that's running against him, his plate says clerk already. What's his name?
Bowers Bryant?
No, I think
Bryant.
Is it Brad Bryant?
Brad Bryant.
Okay, so it already says clerk on his plate. So I mean, whatever, he's taking classes so that he knows how to better understand his job. They're sending him to places to make sure that when he is elected for the position that he is already groomed for that role. Now you got people coming out here talking about, you got these new candidates talking about they need on-the-job training when there's already the experience there. Why do we need on-job training? But yet we're going to vote for county clerk and they're giving him on-the-job training right now. You know what I mean? So, well, if we're going to do that, then let's just do that all the way across the board. I can tell you, when I met Misty and Nick Bright 6 years ago when they decided, or 5 years ago when they decided to run for office, and they were over there at Woody's Market in their district, and I met them at a meet and greet, right? They're saying the same things, all these new interview candidates that we did. You know what I'm saying? They're out for the community. Their voices are going to be heard, this, that, and the other. But now that they've been in there for 4 years, they've had 4 years of on-the-job training and this, that, and the other, and they understand the inner workings of how things are going on, then they're going to make sure that these new ones will – the experience is what counts most. What experience did you have before you ran? Any of these 21 that sat up there? None. None of them had that experience, but they're very quick to come out and talk about the lack of experience that the new candidates have, right? So just kind of odd that this Republican thing coming out, don't vote, bona fide, TCAs, this, that, and the other, all these people promoting other people in different districts, and we're talking about getting rid of the good old boy system, and we're voting in a new good old boy system? No. Nobody's got nothing to say.
Well, Catherine Sands Hall wants to go on record to say that she's voting for Jerry Burns.
I mean,
some of the candidates are pretty vocal about how they feel about things.
So I've promoted him ever since I've had the opportunity to sit down and meet with him. You know what I mean? So I'll go on record and say this, and you can get mad at me now. The only mayor that reached out to me that was running for mayor was Jared Anderson. I had a 30-minute conversation with him. Of all the mayors that are running for mayor right now, Jared Anderson, in my opinion, is the best one, hands down, right? None of the other ones will talk to me. I've reached out to him. Jerome Moon. Yeah, yep. He's a football player.
He won't talk to me either.
None Jerome at all. Moon. Now, he did talk to Jason, right, Jason?
He did.
Oh, really? Wow.
What did he talk to you about?
He sent me all those
the House bills?
Yeah, that they passed for
what?
For not what we were asking for, huh?
Right. For the pedophile stuff, the harsher sentences.
Yeah.
Right. He gave you a whole bunch of different resolution codes, correct?
Yes.
Not the ones that were sent up that I'm aware of, right?
No, right.
Yeah. And then it took what? I think you and Crystal both emailed him.
Yeah.
But he actually replied back to you, but it took some time. I think it took time because he had to think about what the heck he was going to say. He won't respond to me at all because I want him to come on. I want to ask him about, he was the biggest tax hike in Blount County property, right? Am I saying that right? History. Jerome Moon.
And Tom Stinnett said that they did what the DA told them to do.
Tom Stinnett said what?
They passed what the DA told them to do.
The DA?
Yeah.
Not the commission?
Right.
Okay, so that I have a problem with. Do you really have that?
Huh?
Do you did he send that in an email or did he just tell you that vocally?
No, he called me.
And he told you that?
Yeah.
He did what the DA told him to.
Yeah, they all did.
And not what the commission sent up to have be passed.
Right. Yeah, what the commission sent them was just an appeasement. they did, I'm sure they all wanted to do something, but they can't do nothing. So they did what they could to keep from, like I said,
public outcry.
So they did what they could to keep us shut up.
Do you think it's that way though, Crystal, or they did it thinking that these guys were going to take what they gave them and run with it, and then they let us down in Nashville? Because what I find out is that everything that they try, once it gets out of their hands and heads towards Nashville, just kind of dies along the way.
Why
And
are they not following up with Nashville? Why are our
great
sitting
question.
commissioners writing resolutions that they are unanimously voting yes for, Resolution 2505014, and then not following up with Tom Hatcher, Tom Stinnett, Jerome Moon, Cameron Sexton, and Randy McNally, which is who they said they sent that resolution to? Why
Okay.
are citizens having to follow up and getting the runaround from these people in
You
Nashville?
would even think they would go as far as to almost give them a heads up, like, hey, this is what we're working on. This is something we're fixing to send you. You'd think they'd just be in communication with them all the time, saying as
I
they're
think.
kind of in tow. That that just doesn't make sense to me at all.
I thought it
Like
was
you
really
said,
important that that resolution get turned into a bill. I thought everybody on the commission thought that was really important so that, the Dalton thing doesn't ever happen again, as it's been quoted however many times in all the different media outlets.
I wonder
But
if they tried to talk to him and maybe they got the same runaround that we're getting, or
I don't know that.
they was just told you can go ahead and send them, but ain't nothing gonna be done with them.
From what I understand, is they just sent a letter.
Well, it's an actual resolution. It has a number, so it's
Well,
more
yeah, but
than just a letter, though.
it
right.
was a
Yeah.
letter and then there was a resolution. Both come out as resolutions, but one is just like a resolution saying, hey, all the commissioners are pissed off and we all agree we're pissed off. Then the next resolution right after it is, we're really pissed off about this and this is what we think you should do to TCA 3913-101, I think it was, and then TCA 40 something. So there were suggestions for amending state laws, but nothing's been done, and it will be a year on May 15th that they sent all the leadership of the General Assembly and our Blount County state legislators this. Tom Hatcher says that he couldn't get anybody to co-sponsor it, and he's just one person, and they didn't have the funding, and perhaps next year they'll get to it. Next fiscal year, I imagine. But I mean, really, I don't know. I'm pretty heated about it myself.
No, I know, I know, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but the resol or the how far you make the best. There's no way to dance around it. They should have followed through with the resolution that they sent. So why they just sent it and then um, didn't carry on with it, I don't have an answer for that. So show up at your commission meeting and then hang out when it's over and ask them, because this would probably be a good one to ask. Stand up there and get your 3 minutes
Yeah,
on the non-agenda part to ask them why that the resolution that you guys sent on May 15th never got any traction beyond you guys, and why didn't somebody because it's got to be sponsored and co-sponsored, right?
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
So that those individuals that did that, why didn't you make sure that
something
that
happened with it.
yeah, the best,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like that's what I was saying. I wonder why they don't communicate with them before. Just like in the commission, they do the workshop before the commission meeting. So by the time the commission meeting gets there, they already know what's on the agenda and probably how they're going to vote. You know,
right.
but you would think, like I said, doing them resolutions, they'd call up and be like, "Hey, this is something we're working on. Is there even any point in it? Or when it gets there, can you guys catch it? You know what I mean? Is there any specific wording in it we would need for you to maybe have more support of it?" But you think there'd been some kind of plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like with all of it, So when I first met Crystal, she was doing that very first rally over the whole Dalton thing, right?
Yeah.
And you were doing it at the old courthouse. And when you and I were talking to each other, was that 2 years ago, probably?
It was last year.
Okay, so it didn't make any sense to me that they gave her permission to do it there, but not at the courthouse where the actual thing was handed down, right? Well, I couldn't be there. I think it was on a Friday the first time, right?
Yeah, Friday and then Saturday the next day.
The
We
next
had
day.
back to back.
And so I see there's like all these moms out there, you know what I mean? And they got their kids with them, and I'm like, where are all the men at, you know? And it made me wonder why to me, I thought that they did that to you on purpose. Well, keep them down here, keeps them away from the Justice Center. Then, you know, the judges don't have to drive in and out past the people that are out there on the sidewalk protesting, and it doesn't give a black eye to the Justice Center, that kind of thing. And then it wasn't long after that you were able to do one, there at
Yeah,
the
it's a lot
Justice Center.
safer at the courthouse area, but the other person who helped me organize it, we were scrambling and like having mad anxiety. We got a protest permit approved within 7 hours. They usually want 30-day notice for those. And so we're just like, courthouse. So it's probably for the best that it was at the courthouse though, because we did have, children and stuff there. We did another couple of smaller protests or rallies at the Justice Center, and you're like right there on the sidewalk or right next to the road. So it doesn't feel as safe. But, yeah.
Again, if the turnout was big enough that there was an officer or two out there to make sure that when they were turning in to come into work, that they had to disperse the people out of the way, to make them drive in so that they got the finger pointing and this, that, and the other, because they're not ever going to be held accountable as long as they're inside that building. They're safe, they're protected, they're under a whole different set of rules when they're inside that building. But outside in the court of public opinion, that's where it matters. And so when they leave, they should never be allowed to show their face like at a Food City or something like that, or candidly talking about what they did for the 30 years that they were out in the parking lot. They should be heckled and said, what you did was not correct, you know what I mean? And you didn't use the resources that you were given. You didn't listen to the people that voted you into position, because Judge Hedrick is voted, Sheriff is voted. Is it Ryan Desmond?
Yeah,
he's voted. All these people are voted. The sheriff did not go after. Okay, and see, this is the other thing that they're going to say. The sheriff's going to say, well, I went as far as we could. Ryan says, the DA, we went as far as we could. The black robes up there said, well, we went as far as what the law said that we could, and none of them did any of that. Barong, to protect the children, should have came out and said, the sheriff's department, the SRO officers, we did our job. We gave all the evidence to the DA. It was the DA's job to not cut plea deals, to hold these teachers accountable, to keep all this together, not to lose evidence, not to lose video evidence or anything else that was out there, and not to make backroom plea deals with these people. And they did that. And what did the judges do? They went along with it too, all while protecting someone's name that was prominent in the community over the children that they affected in the community, which is totally ass backwards to me, right?
Yeah.
So the Daltons and the Goings and the magistrate, what's her damn name?
Lashmit.
Yeah, and her little child, which is not a child, he was an adult, and their girlfriend, all of them, are protected to some degree. The Daltons and the Goings, obviously, more so than the others, because I think Fred was on the school board.
Yeah, he was on the school board till right before Justin Ridge took over last spring.
Justin Ridge took over, Justin Ridge got rid of her, right? He put her on.
Yes, that's my understanding.
It's how I read it to be, So he gets put in position to do his job. He does his job, and then her dad retires. Dalton. Uncle was principal of Heritage High School. Dad was involved in, major decisions. Yep. So, again, protected. All these people got moved and bounced around, and they ended up the last place they were. So maybe Heritage is a good thing because it catches them, right? It caught Dalton. right? It caught Goins. You know, they got
Well, I don't know.
passed
They
around.
got Goins with the audit. They got her with I guess, the third party audit. And
Okay.
once Justin Ridge took over, he, was going through the audit files. I'm assuming that's how that came across. And he
Right.
saw her name and was like, nope, she doesn't need to work here anymore.
Okay. Very good. So see,
Well,
I'm
good
not.
on him. I'm glad that we've got someone new in there that might be getting things turned around. But yeah, that lawsuit against Goins, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that it also includes previous members of the school board that were around when she was still teaching.
Let me see if I can. You want me to grab that article?
Yeah.
Let me see if I
It
can't
does
send it.
have something in there like that. There's some other people included in that besides her. Might be her mom and daddy in it too. Mama was the secretary at Union Grove while she was doing
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
right.
Yeah, see, Union Grove. Yeah. So, hang on. I got to send it to me through an email because it was sent to me in a text.
Yeah.
Okay. Weird technology. Somebody talk. Hey, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Will you talk?
I was earlier.
I was earlier. Look. Okay, hang on.
What we was talking about, what y'all was talking about, the Republican, what they did, it said on the 31st of March it was the bill passed 777 about the voting thing. But I don't see how you can do that. Like I said, if the primary, like take my seat itself, there's 3 Republicans and a Democrat waiting. So if you want to vote in the primary, there's only Republicans to vote for. So what do you do then? The Democrat
Well, again,
get to vote.
The Democrat shows up and they vote against the one that they think is supposed to win the Republican primary that could beat their Democrat opponent. So they vote for the one that they don't want to win so that their opponent beats them in the general.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it can be done that way, but I don't think you should be allowed to take.
So if I lived in this county and it was run by Democrats and the primaries were open, and I knew that their best Democrat was better than my Republican, then I would do my best to get all my friends to show up and vote for the worst Democrat that would beat their best Democrat, so that my best Republican beat their Democrat in the general election. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we have open primaries.
Yeah. It's a game.
It's a game. Yeah, it's a game. All right. Let's go ahead. Where'd you go, Jason? Did he freeze?
Maybe.
He's frozen.
Yeah,
I believe he's frozen.
Them early vote numbers. Them early vote numbers is up almost 7,000.
Okay, so voting ends in, what's today, the 28th?
Yep, 2 days.
So in 2 days. And according to Kevin's numbers, they are high. And then May 5th. Okay. Let's look at this right here. This is an article about Goins. Federal lawsuit alleges Blount County teacher sexually abused disabled students. School officials concealed it. School officials concealed it. A lawsuit alleges Katie Goins abused severely disabled students. You know, not like me. I wasn't disabled. You know, she didn't. Anyway, from 2018 to 20. That's bad. You know what I'm saying? That's horrible. Despite internal complaints, parents weren't notified until 25. This was published today at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Parents of 3 severely disabled students filed a federal lawsuit against former Blount County special education teacher sexually and physically abused their nonverbal children for years, and school officials conspired to hide it. I don't like how they hollered or they said that word conspired. They know that they hid it. The lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Tennessee claims Kate Goins engaged in a sustained pattern of misconduct between 2018 and 20 while teaching in the comprehensive development classroom at Union Grove Middle School. Goins was first hired at the school in 2010 and moved into special education role in 2016. So this goes from 18 to 20, right? But she was in that position, that role, since 2016. So you do the math. Allegedly used hair to sexually arouse a male student and touch students' genitalia inappropriately during bathroom routines, the lawsuit states. Goins also yanked students from under tables. What do they mean by yanked students from under tables? Like, was she under there doing that?
Maybe they were
Yanking
hiding
them?
from her. Yank them out. I don't know. That's
Through their
crazy.
shoes, called them degrading names. That's crazy, yeah. And attempted to arrange unsupervised time with students after school hours. Unsupervised.
That's crazy.
According to the lawsuit, staff raised alarms as early as 2019, reporting she was taking children to the bathroom and touching them inappropriately. District documents show. In August of 20, multiple instructional assistants and the classroom nurse emailed then Principal John Webb with detailed accounts of what they saw, making their messages urgent and confidential. According to the lawsuit, Webb forwarded the reports to then Director of Schools, Rob Britt, who's no longer there, and the Human Resources Director, David Merle. The lawsuit states, which I found out who is retiring, David Merle, I think. Goins was not disciplined. He wasn't detained, or we don't think she was arrested, right?
No.
Or
She was never
charged.
formally charged, right? I mean,
The consequence
nothing,
was
right?
she got moved to Heritage.
So, according to the lawsuit, she was transferred to Heritage High School. It's where they all die. District records confirm a Department of Children's Services investigation was opened, but she faced no formal action. Now, isn't that funny? You got DCS, right? And they find no formal actions. But if you were investigated by DCS and you didn't do anything wrong, they would find formal actions. Just my opinion. Oh, no, where'd it go? The school board granted her permanent tenure in 22. The school board. Now, they had an investigation going on from, was it 2018? Did I read that correct?
18 to
Right
20,
here.
I believe it was.
Goins engaged in a sustained pattern of misconducts between 18 and 20. She worked there since 2010. She took that position in special education in 2016. The staff raised the alarm in 2019. Start doing the math, right? I mean, the lawsuit alleges the inaction was in part because of Goins' father, Fred Goins.
Fred Goins.
Again, we're protecting a name, something honorable, something leader, something. No, they're representatives. There's nothing honorable about what they do. They are civil or civic servants based on the fact that we vote them into that position, supposedly. No, we don't protect names to ensure the integrity of a community over children. Who was then a member of the Blount County Board of Education. The lawsuit accuses him too, of using his position to intimidate staff and shield his daughter. We've heard this many times.
Yep.
Right? So, Parents of the disabled student victims were never told. Not in 2018, not in 2019, not in 20, not in 21, not in 22, not in 23, the lawsuit states. Parents only learned of the abuse in May of 25 after a routine HR audit uncovered the hidden 2020 investigation file, the lawsuit states. District records show that the audit was conducted in 24 and included files of teachers accused of sexual misconduct. I want that file of all the teachers that were accused of sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
Who do we submit a FOIA to?
It would be is it a FOIA or a public information request?
Public information request.
Okay.
FOIA is federal, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be something
yeah,
worth reading for sure. Finding out who's on that list of different.
This sounds like Congress, where they decided to vote against their ethics and not release the records of all the people in Congress that have sexual assault charges against them, and they're paying them to shut up. It's almost just like that.
It's
right?
a classic.
The audit was conducted in 24, included files of teachers.
It's a classic.
Now, look, I went to Heritage High School. Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
It's a classic. We investigated ourselves, and we found we done nothing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't do
Jason, I didn't know you'd left the. Right. It says teachers. I went to Heritage. That's plural, correct? It means more than one. Okay, did we all go to Heritage?
I did.
Yeah, I did.
So the district's new director of school, Justin Ridge, was briefed on Goins' file and called for her termination according to those records. That's cool. There is somebody finally
Absolutely.
said enough was enough, right? According to the records, she was placed on administrative leave, and the first formal police report in the case was filed in 2025. When 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So as of 25, the Tennessee Bureau, TBI, investigations confirmed and it had opened an investigation to the less misconduct and whether it was properly reported. So does that mean because it's open, we could see something? The Department of Child Services also confirmed its investigation in Goins has been reopened. Well, thanks for finally showing back up again. Right? Is that Blount County DCS? Because those people fucking suck, I'll just tell you.
Oh, yeah. I've had
the plaintiffs are seeking compensatory and punitive damages for civil rights violations and intentional inflictions of emotional distress. According to the lawsuit, the defendants, including Blount County and its school board, have not yet filed a formal response in court. So I would want all those prior to Justin Ridge, Red Goins, and the rest of them, we want to know. We want to know. We should have the right to know because it's public, correct?
Yeah.
That's public information. That's anything, let me ask you guys a question. It's a little bit off topic, but when you took your kids to school, you got that book at the beginning of every single year that talked about the handbook.
The handbook, yes.
Right. It outlined everything and what they were going to do with their, what do they call it? Their, their motive and education, this, that, and the other. And then the further you get into it, it talks about the disciplinary actions of what can happen. And then what they do is they send it home with your child the first few days. The parent has to sign it and return it. I never signed it. And I returned it to Rockford and Eagleton school principals and told them I wasn't signing their book because I didn't agree with the way these things turned out because it's crap just like this. You know what I mean? Where people are being protected because of their name and my sons were not being protected because their name wasn't as prominent as a Riley as it was a Goins or a Dalton or somebody else's child who was at school that shared the same name as the rest of them. So they looked at me sort of odd and like I was being unruly. And I told him, you can have your handbook back. I don't agree to sign to any of it. If my kids cause trouble and you can prove that they caused trouble, then I agree with whatever the rules of the school are as far as punishment goes. But if they didn't cause the trouble and they have the right to defend themselves, then if you suspend them, then we'll gladly go home and we'll celebrate the fact that they did just exactly what their father told them to do. And they didn't like that, but they respected it. You know what I mean? And we need more parents like that, because if more parents stood up and did stuff like that, then we wouldn't have these people that were teachers that were being pushed from one school to the next. We would have school board members trying to protect the names of these people because the town's name was more important and the integrity of the name than the child that they molested or touched or whatever. So anyway. I mean, you guys let me talk too much sometimes.
No, you're good, dude.
All right. Let me pull up this one here because we got to talk about Christina Delaney. It says we've been on here. Oh, gosh, it feels like forever. It's been an hour and 18 minutes. The chat's amazing. Facebook is going, it's flipping epic. You know what I mean?
Zarko.
Yeah. William Goins, Timothy Effler, Alan Latham. I mean, I appreciate all this.
Hey.
We got Ed Reno, Kim, James Richard, Blount Accountability Project, Bluntly Honest. I like Bluntly Honest too. You know that. Sam Kidd. Trying to get everybody. Go ahead, Jason. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just gonna say, I had a teacher at Eagleton who wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. So I went home and told Dad, and then he wrote a note and told that teacher, if my son has to go to the bathroom, you don't let him go. He said, give him permission to piss in the trash can. That's what he wrote.
Yeah, whatever works.
I got to go to the bathroom after that from then on.
Right on.
We got Shannon Kirkland in there.
Yeah, it was different back then. I remember my dad going to school. I'd had a rip in my jeans or something.
Me too, Robert.
They wrote me up for a dress code violation or something. And boy, when I took that home, my dad was not happy, and he took me to school the next day, marched me in the principal's office in another pair of jeans that were ripped, and he told him, if you don't like the clothes I send him to school in, you are more than welcome to go buy them.
That is so funny. When was that?
Oh, dude, I think I was at Eagleton.
So, 90-91, when I was at Heritage Junior in high school, I had a dime hole in my blue jeans. And Renfro, you guys remember Renfro?
Oh, yeah. Dude, it may have been a Heritage, and I believe it was Renfro.
Came up to me and told me that I wasn't allowed to wear them pants to school again, and if he caught me wearing them, he would suspend me, right? So I went home and told my parents. So my dad or stepdad at the time told me that when Jack Renfro started buying my clothes, that he could tell me what the hell I could wear to school or not. So a few days went by, and I wore the jeans back to school again. And when he saw me, and of course, I wore combat boots, leather jacket, blue jeans, long hair. There's a little group of us. We were, unruly to some degree, I mean, we didn't bring guns to school or stuff like that, but you know what I mean? We wore holes in our jeans, had long hair, combat boots type stuff, leather jackets. So he comes to me and he gets in my face and he's talking to me. I told you this, that, and the other. And he's like, and he spits on me. And I was like, oh my God. I told him he was awful damn lucky my old man didn't come up here and whoop his fucking ass. And if he needed me, I would be in my next class. So I walked away and he's like, Mr. Riley, come back here. I kept on walking. I get all the way to the gymnasium and he follows me. And when he comes in there, he's like, Mr. Riley, come here. And I'm like, I'm not coming with you. So he sends Benny Dalton after me. They expelled me from school. My junior year, the last 10 days. I took my exams at Everett High School. They took me in front of the school board and they were going to put me on probation because I told Renfro that he wasn't allowed to tell me what I was allowed to wear we're talking a hole in my jeans the size of a dime. And so I went and did my exams. I left out of there early. I got 10 days free early from my junior year, and I went back my senior year and had no troubles out of anybody after that. So all over a hole in my blue jeans. Look here, it says we traded knives at Lillard and Harrington. Look at, and William Goins says Renfro was a punk. Now you know, yeah, he was not the nicest guy.
Good old days.
Oh man, didn't they name the field after him?
I think so.
Yeah. All right, this is Christina Delaney for Blount County Commissioner, right? I want you guys to see this right here. It says, the people that live in Townsend, you need to pay attention to this lady right here, Christina Delaney. She has a website. It's www.KristenDelaney.com. The information that she's got on that website pertains to people in Townsend. Specifically, it is pertinent information. I mean, just pertinent information. So she says the vote was illegal. The April 9th vote on the Townsend Community Plan has been declared procedurally flawed and invalid under Tennessee state law. Public hearing coming, date to be announced. Christina Delaney, Townsend Planning Commissioner, and she's also running for commission, District 8B, and we did an interview with her on Candid Conversation. So she's amazing. You know what I mean? I think she should.
A lot of research.
It would be cool to see her, beat Joplin and Gordon, who, gosh, that guy loves Moon. Gordon does. So anyway, it says to the citizens of Townsend 37882. On April 9th, I voted no on the 26th community plan. I raised documented concern. And believe me, her documentation is bulletproof. That the plan didn't reflect what 841 of you said. That the transportation chapter was incomplete. That there were factual errors. And that 100,000 document was being rushed through without a single revision. $100,000 document was being rushed without a single revision. I was shut down, she said. I was outvoted. I was told to do my homework by people who hadn't done theirs. How convenient. Yesterday, the city manager confirmed what I tried to tell them that night. The vote was not just wrong, it was illegal. The April 9th vote had been declared procedurally flawed and invalid under Tennessee state law. And this is a real Tennessee state law, not like the one that the Republican Party sent you. The required public hearing was never held. The vote does not stand. The required public hearing was never held. Why would they be planning stuff in a community and not hold a required public hearing before they voted on it?
Because they're sneaky, or trying to be sneaky.
Exactly.
They're not sneaky enough, evidently.
No, because Christina caught them. A new public hearing will be scheduled before the June Planning Commission meeting. The date has not been announced yet, but when it is, I need you there. She needs the people of Townsend there, the good people. There was 841 that claimed that you didn't reflect what was being done. Can you imagine if 841 showed up in that little building? You'd probably fill it and then out in the, wherever. I've never been there, so I'm sure it can't hold all that. But if 841 of you showed up to show whoever the heck decided to do this without running through the proper procedures, telling people that they need to go home and do their homework when they didn't do theirs, show up and let them know, right? So the votes do not stand. A new public hearing will be scheduled. Oh, my bad. 841 residents took the time to fill out the survey. 67% said the growth is too fast. The number one thing you said you love about Townsend is it's not Gatlinburg. So this is your chance to say it again, in person, on record, where it counts. Watch this page, which is Christina Delaney for Blount County Commissioner right there. She'll post the hearings date the moment it is announced. Show up, speak. This is your town. Kristen Delaney, Townsend Planning Commissioner, and she's running for Commission District 8B. And she's correct when she said that if the two would do a better job of communicating with each other, things might go drastically better. Because, see, this right here is what they would call a failure to communicate. And that failure to communicate would be the fact that they didn't. Oh, now there's three. They didn't do a public hearing. I like hearing about that stuff. Jason's gone again. Where'd he go? I don't know.
Where'd you go, Jason?
Where'd you go?
You might be having bad internet signal.
It's possible. It's very possible. So Christina Delaney will eventually come back on and talk about the to be announced, to let people know when to show up, because we would happily promote that for her and try to share it on all of our platforms to make sure that people in Townsend would show up. I have a few friends there, so if they are, at the very least, paying attention to what's going on, then they can share it on their platforms too. I see him down there, but I don't see him. You know what I mean? So I have a video about what we're not supposed to do. Solutions. You know, we do a lot of talking, or you guys let me do a lot of talking. When this thing all began, we were all supposed to do our part. I really feel like. Anyway.
Can y'all hear me?
There's this thing when people we give our opinion, we share what is considered facts via public information, the information that they allow us to have, right? And then people ask, well, you know, what are you going to do? And so then if you even try to come up with some sort of solution, and then what do? They criticize that. So they've criticized that you've complained about it, but you didn't follow up with a solution. Then you follow up with a solution. Then they criticize the solution. So, yeah. So I recorded this video. You know me, I like videos. Uh-oh. What's it doing here? Oh, man. Oh, wait. Did you guys hear that?
I heard nothing.
Sweet, because it was like super loud in my ear. Jason, your camera's not on, but your
Can y'all hear me?
mic is on.
I can't. It won't let me get on.
Okay, let me share this real quick. It's my favorite dude, man. Chris Paul. I don't know if you all have watched Badlands Media. But Chris Paul is like super insightful. Some of the stuff that he says when people ask him questions, it just rolls off his lips, and it just makes so much sense, at least to me. So he came up with this whole solutions thing here. And all right. I still see Jason down there, but he's not. All right, here we go. Listen to what he says about solutions. See if you agree.
Why would I be offering up solutions to people who cannot accept what the problem is and can't wrap their heads around what the problem
Can you hear it?
or how the solutions cannot come from the system if they understand what the problem is? Why would I offer up solutions? And why do people ask for solutions? Well, people ask for solutions because they want to change the subject so that they don't have to accept the problem. They'll ask for solutions. Someone will present solutions, and then they'll say, well, that won't work. Here's why. Well, that won't work. Here's why. Well, you know what? We're going to have to win elections to implement that solution. So you better tell everybody to vote again. That's what happens when you present solutions to people who don't know what the problem is. Why would I want to discuss solutions? What should be done about a problem that someone doesn't understand? Why would I be interested in that discussion? That would be a complete and total waste of my time, and it would be a waste of their time because they're not on a solution level. Who would be proposing solutions to problems to people who don't understand that the problem exists?
Makes perfect sense, dude.
No. So, when we talked about debates, why would I propose a solution to you when you don't understand the process of a debate and how it works in the process of electing people in the positions that we want them to stand on the principles that they claim that they're going to bring to the office in which we elect them to be in, right?
Boy, some of the opinions I seen on that post just made me scratch my head. Like, some of them were presenting the points and didn't even realize it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's almost like thank you. I really thought that was cool. So, like, Chris Paul's one of my favorite. And so every once in a while, I just want to record what he says and just throw it out there, because if you kind of pick up on what he's saying, then if you understand it, you just can't understand. Look at that. William Goen says the Hegelian dialect. William, do you listen to Burning Bright? Because those guys get into that stuff like that. I don't much understand. Do you understand that, Crystal?
The Hegelian thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess the premise is government creates a problem, then people react, and then government comes up with a solution, which is sort of what I feel like with the Dalton case. I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but there's a blatant problem with pedophiles in the schools and churches. So everybody gets outraged. So we come up with a resolution that never sees the light of day again. But hey, it's shut everybody up for a while.
That is so perfect. So perfect. But you know what else is going on in Maryville that people didn't know about? Or maybe they did? Solar farms.
Oh, that. Yeah, that's a
Did
thing.
you guys hear about that? Solar farms.
Road, man.
Huh. Hey, you want to talk about the Pellissippi Park extension?
Oh.
You're mad about that, but you ain't mad about solar farms? Do you understand? I don't think people understand. The trash, the garbage, the eco, the oh my gosh, just all the, but it's a safer way of energy to, I don't know, retarded class of people, low IQ voters.
I think they tout it.
If that
too,
offends you, I'm sorry.
This is going to save you money, but does any of that stuff they ever do save you any money? Like, even like the energy
we have a hydroelectric dam.
I remember that was touted.
What happened here? What was it?
Just all this stuff they do, say to make energy more efficient, make it cheaper for the consumers, but it never does that. It never gets cheaper for the consumers for us.
So a new solar farm in our community is going to beat the hydroelectric that's just down the road. I mean, that's a natural, God-made source of energy that runs off water. That now, the problem I got is that we live so close to this hydro energy, and we pay way too much for it. I'm thinking the further out that the energy you have to transport, the higher the bill should be, right? And since we live thanks Edward Jones for your crap. Since we live that close to the source of energy, like the source of life, the source of energy, we should pay the least. I live like spitting distance from it. You know what I mean? You do too. On a scale of, if you're looking at a regional scale, we're in the same, that dot where the hydroelectric energy is coming. We're in that same stupid dot. You know what I'm saying? You have to get out like in the Knoxville Oak Ridge before you're out of that thing, right? So, but you're going to tell me a shit ton of solar panels in somebody's farm that they're not growing tobacco or growing corn in anymore, but they're going to put these solar panels in. It's going to produce clean, new energy that is better than the hydroelectric energy that's down the road, right? And that's not going to leave anything uneco-friendly to our environment, right? Another solar farm is complete in Maryville. Is that like a Blount partnership? Industrial Development Board, the IDB,
Probably.
any of these people? I don't know. The crew of 18 community members built a 1.8 megawatt solar array in Maryville in just 6 months. I want to know, will all of that right there, will it run the energy to put up a data center? Oh, shit, because they don't like that either. You'll allow solar panels in our community, but not a data center, right? So it says the company added that the array was engineered in December with the contractor now completing testing. The installation on... What's that?
Oh, it's lagging. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Installation will feed energy into the electric department's grid. You're good. So you are good. This project means a lot to us because it's right here in our backyard, said Edward Rotman, Chief Executive Officer of Chroma Energy Group. Edward Rotman. It's right here in our backyard. So is hydroelectricity, the dams. But we're going to depend on renewable energy, right? Okay. We live and work in East Tennessee, and we take pride in building projects that support the communities we call home. Chroma Energy Group built the solar farm in collaboration with Tennessee-based Silicon Ranch. The CCO of Silicon Ranch said the company works with local businesses whenever possible. We take pride in knowing the community served, Rotman said. When we build in East Tennessee, we're building for our own neighbors. Look at that shit. You see that? Wait a second.
Ooh.
Wait, look here. Look at this. Oh. I want to know who mows underneath that. You got to be like a midget or something? Crawling on your hands and knees with scissors? Or are they using some like, let me guess, solar-powered mower? Battery-powered something? Has to plug into an electronic thing to charge? Look at that. Huh. Well, look at all this farmland right here. So what did they do? They take that and said, you got enough to grow right there. Can't grow here because we need all of this to send electric to who? To what?
I think it just says it sends it back into the grid.
To Maryville City is what I thought it said, right? Maryville Electric Department's grid. So let me tell you, this right here is what they call woke ideology, Green New Deal, all the stuff that they take taxpayers' monies and they make people rich. It's NGOs and stuff like that. And this is for a Thursday show and not a Blount County breakdown. But this right here will never sustain what the water will do. The hydroelectricity will do. This will never sustain what oil products will do. This will die out because it depends on the sun. And when clouds are out, it doesn't produce the same amount of energy, but they store it in what? Batteries? What are these storage houses they got here somewhere? You don't want data centers? Go ahead, Robert.
I don't know so much if them feed back into batteries, if they're feeding back into the grid. I don't know how they got that one. But also, you got to think, is people going to come out there once a week and sweep them off? Get the debris off when it snows.
I feel like when that goes obsolete, they'll just plant a data center right there.
Right.
Only you can prevent data centers.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Only you can prevent data centers. Yeah.
We need some
kind of when I see all this
at that point.
What's that?
I said we need some kind of mascot, like Smokey the Bear for the forest fires. We need some kind of some robot standing there, maybe a Tesla bot. Only you can prevent data centers.
Tesla.
Yeah, Kim says they're blocking the sun, morons.
No shit.
Every time those pesky exhaust clouds spread out across the sky and block the sun out, that is funny.
It's very funny. They came in here. Well, it's a federal thing. I'm sure there's some sort of grant. Somebody made money off of all that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
somebody's
saying?
getting
So,
money over this.
Bonus, carbon credits.
so carbon credits. Imagine that. See, these are Thursday night topics and not Tuesdays. So,
But they're here on our front porch. Like they're
I
like,
know
"Here you go, here they
exactly.
Yeah, shit's here.
It's getting real.
It is getting real. Let's see.
Roll up them pants legs.
I found this. Look here, guys. Right here. Watch this. This is the Steve Wildsmith post, who I had fun with, just to be honest with you guys. You know what I mean? I thought what his thing was pretty spot on. Watch this. It says, Jerome Moon has always been an amiable enough guy. Am I saying that right? Amiable? Amiable? A-M-I-A-B-L-E.
Amiable.
Yeah, amiable enough guy. But this fear-mongering garbage right here is a smokescreen, if I've ever seen one. Being overrun. My dude, pretty sure if you keep up with the arrest records in the Daily Times, most of the names are as white and Southern as can be, but I don't see you beating your chest over those individuals. No, Jerome is hoping that by jumping on the bandwagon of national outrage and gripped up fear, you'll overlook the fact that he didn't even have the temerity to cast a vote in last year's school voucher debacle. He was present, just didn't vote. And after umpteen years in Nashville, he's ready to bring that, whatever style of governing you want to call it, back to Blount County. Listen, y'all, the election is coming up quick, and it's been heavy on the mind lately because here in Blount County, the reality of how elections work is a little different than what we tend to talk about online. That's true. Take a look at the sample ballots. On the Democrat side, there are important races: governor, U.S. Senate, congressional seats, state house districts. And those matter. Even when a candidate is running unopposed, those primary votes matter. They send a signal. They show engagement. They can be different between a campaign that limps into the general election or fumes and one that gets attention, resources, and support from the state party and beyond. If you're someone who wants to support Democrat candidates, there's absolutely value in voting in that primary, full stop. But then there's the other side of the ballot right here. In Blount County, some of the most powerful local offices, highway superintendent, sheriff, the whole slate of county commission seats, mayor, and are effectively decided in the Republican primary, not the general election. That's why it's so important to show up in this primary to vote. This is coming from a guy who was a previous writer for the Daily Times, right?
Yep.
And a Democrat. And I don't disagree with what the hell he's saying right here. Nope. In Blount County, some of the most, I read that already, not on the general, in the primary, in some of those races, there won't even be a Democrat on the ballot in August, which means whether we like it or not, the people who show up in the Republican primary are the ones choosing who runs this county, 100%.
Right.
Who oversees law enforcement, who helps shape budgets, who helps make decisions that affect schools, infrastructure, and everyday life here at home. That's not a talking point. That's just how it works. Now, I know there are folks I respect deeply who cannot and will not bring themselves to vote in a Republican primary. I understand that. I really do. The Trump era has poisoned so much of our political culture that some pulling a ballot with an R at the top feels like crossing a line they simply don't want to cross. I'm not here to argue with that, but I am going to be honest about what I am doing. I'll be voting in the Republican primary. Do you think he's worried about some TCA annotated code about being bona fide?
Hell no.
Because that is a twisting of the TCA. They're just trying to stifle people. That's all that is.
Not because I've suddenly had a change of heart. Shit, certainly y'all know me better than that, he claims. And absolutely not because I'm supporting the platform, but because in a county like ours where one party dominates, the primary is often the only place where there's a real choice. And I'd rather have a say in choosing between candidates than sit it out entirely. Now, is that not what the lady said in Knoxville?
Yep.
Cheatham County? There were more. I didn't pull them all up, but that was one particular in Cheatham, Tennessee. I don't know if it's the actual county.
Yeah, Chetham's County.
Okay. If I have the opportunity to vote against the most extreme, most divisive, most intolerant voices in the races, I'm going to take it because those local offices matter a lot. So he's talking about voting against the best in the Republican Party by voting for the worst of the Republican Party to make sure that his Democrat beats that Republican. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here's the part I think sometimes gets lost. This doesn't cancel out the general election. Not even close. Come August, I'll be right back where you expect me to be. Voting for Democratic candidates up and down the ballots. Both things will be true. We can support Democratic candidates in the general election and be strategic about how we engage in the primary system that, whether we like it or not, gives us an opening to have a voice. Because here's the reality. Even in a county like Blount, we're not invisible. Roughly a quarter of the electorate here leans left. That's nothing. That's not nothing, he says. In a crowded primary fields, right now they're crowded, some are, where 5 or 6, sometimes more candidates are splitting the vote, that number can absolutely make a difference. It can be the difference between the most extreme candidate winning and someone a little more measured, a little more reasonable, a little more willing to govern instead of grandstand. That matters. So if you're voting in the Democrat primary, I respect that. That's value there. And those candidates need your support. But if you're thinking about crossing over for the primary, I get that too. And if you've never really thought about any of this before, maybe this is just something to consider. At the end of the day, this isn't about telling anyone what they should do. It's about understanding the system. I talk about that. Understanding the system in which we operate in, right, guys?
That's it.
That's it. Not the one we wish we had, but the one we've got, and deciding how we want to engage with it. Because having a voice doesn't always look the way we expect it to. But it still matters. So please, whatever you decide to do, for whomever you decide to cast your vote, do it. Don't sit this one out. Don't stay at home. And don't you dare think that your vote won't make a difference, because it can. And in this primary, 1 or 2 votes here and there may just decide the damn thing. It matters, y'all. It matters. Hang in there. Love y'all and shit. Now, I agree with everything in that little rant that he had there. And he asked me about it a couple times if I thought it was a bad thing to be sharing. And I told him no, because I have the Republican side of things I don't agree with. I don't agree with the Democratic side of things, obviously, but I think it fit right into that narrative that they're trying to say that if you vote and you're not bona fide or you're not whatever, it's a misdemeanor. When you got these guys in the Democratic Party telling you this is the only opportunity to change what's going on in these counties that are heavily Republican.
Yeah.
He ain't wrong.
Well, even if you look at it from like an independent standpoint, there's not an independent primary ballot. And those folks don't get voted for until the general election. So why would you not go ahead and vote strategically in the primary so that your independent candidate has a better opportunity, maybe?
Isn't that what happened with Sam? They tried to claim he wasn't bona fide, so he ran independent.
Yeah, Sam Kidd's independent.
I mean, I don't know if that's the exact thing. I'm just paraphrasing.
I think that may be what happened. Don't quote me, but I think he was trying to run as Republican, and so he's independent now.
That was back in, was it February, when they came out and said all these candidates weren't bona fide, so they removed them? And then like a day and a half later, they put them all back. They made these exceptions.
Yeah.
And wasn't Zach Talbot talking about Jerry Burns, about not him being all those things? And then so Jerry has all the paperwork to show he has all those things. And I think even in the post, Zach said that if Jerry could show, and we're talking about Zach Talbot from like Legacy Talbot Center. Am I saying that correct?
Talbot
You know the methadone clinic dude, that guy. You know what I
TLC
mean?
guy.
You know the one that's married to Chris Fuller. You know the partners. You know what I mean? Those guys that
They go to Coulter's
yeah,
campaign.
you know that hang around with pedophiles like Cody Weaver.
that guy.
You know that guy right there. You know what I mean? That endorses people like Sheriff Barong and Brad Coulter for mayor. You know what I mean? Who are they all hanging out with? So. He's the one that came out and said that Jerry was wrong, but if he could prove that he was right, he would apologize. So Zach, or anybody that follows Zach, or anybody that listens to Zach, we're waiting for your apology because Jerry can prove it, and he has.
He's bona fide.
He's bona fide.
Bona fide.
Yeah.
God, I ain't never heard that word so much in my damn life.
The bona fide thing, I think, fits a Zach Fuller thing. You know what I mean? Two men together to be bona fide like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
That's not a man woman thing. It's a man thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I believe they're bona fide, right? I mean, he pretty much executed the code word for word on his post. I did reach out to him. I asked him for a friend request because I wanted to let him know that we were going to continue to talk about the people that he hangs out with. Not that he's done anything wrong, but he seems to be prominent in the community and he likes to endorse certain people. But I wonder if those people realize that he hangs around with pedophiles on the registry, sex offender for life.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's all public information. You can find it.
Yep. That's there.
So, Zach, if you're listening or somebody that knows you that's listening, you owe Jerry an apology. And I think maybe some of these people you're endorsing should ask you who the hell you're hanging out with. Just my opinion.
And why. We want to know why.
And why. So, anyway, I don't have any more stuff. They probably created enough crap as it is. So, I think our friend Kathy's going to be happy to hear that. So it is public record. It's out there on Facebook. You can see it all.
As public as public can be.
Yeah. So anyway, with that being said, that's, I guess, a Blount County. I don't know what happened to Jason. He's listening, I think.
Yeah.
But he's not on the camera there. So, Jason, hope everything's good.
I texted y'all.
I don't know that I have
3 comments on Facebook.
103. 103. Look, that's a hillbilly reference for truly consideration, and I find it offensive. I don't know what William's talking about. Right here's Kevin's post. It was 3 days ago. It says through April 24th, there's only 5,240 of these 95,000 so far, but it's up.
I just looked at the election website, and it's up over 6,000 now. Moving right along.
I'm going to add my vote tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
I'm waiting till May 5th.
Shirley Ann Rupert said when all the Republicans got kicked off the ballot, it's because they all had to pay the $250 fee to the GOP. So they just turned around and paid that and got back on
the.
Oh, I think I remember.
Back on the gravy train with biscuit wheels, baby.
Pretty sure Jerry didn't pay that.
I don't think he paid the fee.
He was never taken off the ballot, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wasn't taking it. real deal bona fide, not
Right.
this bullshit everybody else talking about.
About the $250 bona fide. Whatever. Hey, did you guys see where they were getting their fingernails painted today at the Black County?
I did see that. I don't. What's that?
At the Purple Pinkies, at the Gates Foundation, something about polio. I don't know, but it was weird.
Bill Gates?
Raising awareness for polio vaccines.
Is it a Bill Gates?
Worldwide.
You say Bill Gates?
It's just Gates Foundation.
Gates.
It was the Rotary Club, and it was in collab with the Gates Foundation, and there was another institution, I believe.
BCSO.
You know what Gates said? He believes he could decline the population by 30% with vaccines.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yes. Rumble has had a shit ton of I mean, between Ed, Abby, Kim, who else is there? They're all laughing. I think they laugh at what I was trying to say when I was talking about. I mean, if we're gonna, are you allowed to be married in Tennessee to a partner like that? Did they change the rule? Like 2 men, 2 women?
Federal thing.
It's not a state thing. It's a federal thing.
I think so. I think that was an Obama thing.
Oh yeah. Well, his wife, Obama's wife, was a man, so I could see how that would be that way. I think isn't that Michael? Oh,
yeah, you're talking about Michael.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah. So,
Big Mike.
Yeah, Big Mike. Yeah, it was Big Mike. Yeah.
Step up to the mic.
Yeah, Big Mike. That's funny right there. I don't care what you say. So appreciate the chat. You guys like, follow, share. I don't know, don't tell me what night it is, PBR. It's crazy, all these chats, man. I just want to say thank you, because I never expected it to turn out like this. And for the few haters that we got, I love them too. You know what I mean? So the problem is, just keep your bullshit to Facebook. Don't try to confront me out in public, because that shit ain't cool. You know what I mean? Especially when we don't know what you look like. You know what the hell I look like. So we're going to be at these commission meetings. We're going to be taking inventory. We're not there to create trouble. We're there to learn. If you don't like our opinion, then you don't have to follow us. You can damn sure shut off Resolute Exposure, which is my podcast, but this show is our show, which is Blount County Breakdown. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it either, But your attacking comments, that you're going to find us in public is bullshit. And if you come across us in public like that, just be careful. We are allowed to defend ourselves. So, yeah. So we're not scared at all, and or intimidated. And just trying to say that. What's that say? Do you know what's going on? Spain national football team. What is that? We got spam in the fucking chat.
Bro.
How do you get rid of spam?
Yeah, you may have to block that individual.
Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what's going on?
Do you know what's going on? Anyway.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to know what's going on. Thanks for asking.
That's right. Thanks for asking. All right. Before we get off here and I play some people on the porch, you guys got anything? I love it when we get together. I do. I love it. Oh, I know this. We got to promote the May 23rd.
Yeah, we rescheduled because of rain. So the new rally date is May 23rd. I haven't put in the permit for that yet, but the lieutenant has assured me there should be no issue. So I just have to submit it probably in the next couple of days. I'll get it in. Yeah, May 23rd, 9 to 12.
Day after my birthday. That's a Saturday. My birthday's on Friday.
Hell yeah.
I'm celebrating. We'll have cupcakes.
We'll have cupcakes.
Cupcakes at the rally.
Some
look, we got to do better than a No Kings rally, because they went and got all those. They got all those people from the old folks' homes. There's no way they color and keep those letters, all the markings in line. They're too old. You know what I mean? They just can't do that. So they gave them signs. They told them to stand there and point them up. And guess what? Odd that there was supposedly a king that's been on our in America for the last 2 days, right?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. Did they arrest him for the Epstein bullshit?
No, I think they interviewed him at the White House or something. Didn't they? I
Did
don't know.
who was there to pick him up at the airport? Because Trump wasn't there, right? You figure if the king shows up at the airport, the president would be there to greet him at the airport. They just waited for him to arrive, at the White House. You know what I mean? Did anybody arrest him for anything Epstein related?
I guess so.
Well, I mean, this is supposed to be a major pedophile in the Epstein ring. Major. He addressed Congress today. They're having this big fancy dinner going on right now, right? No.
Crazy.
No. So, yeah, we got to do better for the rally on the 23rd than No King's Day.
No Pedos Day.
No Pedos Day, yeah. That would be a great sign. No Pedos Day. That's what so May 23rd is No Pedos Day. And I declare that No Pedos Day is May 23rd on May 23rd every year in the state of Tennessee.
You just reminded me, you're not the only one to make a declaration.
Are we allowed
Mayor
to?
Ed Mitchell declared the whole month of April Child Abuse Awareness Month. Did you see that Facebook post?
No, I did not. I don't follow Ed Mitchell.
That's a good one.
Pinwheels to fight child abuse.
I did send a email to Tim Burchett so we could talk about protecting the children. We can talk about fraud in his campaign. Because I want to show
his campaign.
No. Well, fraud and his campaign.
Oh, gotcha.
Because he went on DEFCON Zero, which is Badlands Media. It's another podcast like ours.
Mm-hmm.
He went on with Alpha Warrior and Josh Reed. Now, Alpha Warrior is out of Los Angeles, and Josh Reed is somewhere in the country. Got nothing to do with Tennessee. He went on there and had a 45-minute interview with him, talked about alien stuff and that kind of thing, and so on and so forth. A deflection. So when he did that, I sent him an email. Will you come on my show? I'm in your district. I voted for you. I don't care for you.
I'd love to talk to Tim.
Would love to talk to him. I said, I saw your podcasts. You're driving and crying with Sheriff Barong and all that other good stuff like that. So if he would come on, then we could have a real conversation about how he said he would hang pedophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He's very adamant about it too, doggone it.
And Blount can't doggone it, yeah. Dadgummit. And yet, what's going on in the county that he represents? I mean,
they're falling out of trees, but not, sorry.
Like them damn frozen iguanas in Florida.
Yeah, like iguanas in Florida.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Damn frozen pedophiles.
I don't think he understands. So he went to school somewhere in Knoxville, so he doesn't understand or comprehend the exact statement that he says when he would hang pedophiles. Because they get plea deals in Blount County.
Evidently.
Yeah, so I would love it if he would respond back, but I don't think that he will.
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see. So
we'll hold out hope for a while anyway.
True. All right. Anybody got anything else to say before we get kicked and play some music? It's a good show, though.
Yeah. Pretty good turnout. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Exactly. Hit the like button, whatever platform you're on, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble. Share it if you feel like it. Hit the thumbs down button if you don't like it. I mean, it pushes an algorithm either way. You know what I'm saying? As long as the algorithm is generated, the machine, the system, then all it does is promote what's going on. We don't make any money off of this, although at the beginning of the show we had enough to run a commercial, because once you hit 10 viewers live, you can run a commercial, and then it pays like 26 cents.
Who?
Yeah, who? So anyway, anybody voting for Marshall Blackburn? I don't think so. All right, guys. I'll leave it at that. Y'all have a good night, and I'm sure I'll talk to y'all tomorrow or whatever at some
See
point.
y'all later.
All right, guys.
Good one.
You too, Crystal. Hey, it was good seeing you because we missed you last week. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hated not being on the show, but it was good to be back.
That's cool. We'll see you.
Y'all take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Jason, I don't know if you can hear me, but adios. And Robert, we'll do it again soon.
Hell yeah, brother.
And that leaves just me. Appreciate all the comments, Facebook, Rumble, all of that, man. That's amazing. All the new follows, the new likes, all that stuff like that. So appreciative to Robert and Crystal and Jason. Without them, it would just be caught up on Resolute Exposure on Thursday nights. Instead, we got Blount County Breakdown on Tuesdays and Candid Conversation with more to come. We got Jeff Cogcoggin and Melissa Marinville on May 27th, I believe, at a determined time, but I'll set the event here in the next couple weeks. We're going to do some more Protect the Children stuff, and then we got more to come with Jeff Cogcoggin talking about cool stuff. That's not necessarily related to Protect the Children, which is absolutely important. I didn't mean to make it sound like it wasn't cool, but I'm talking like debatable stuff. You know, we talk about the inner workings of government, PSYOP type things like that, space, a little bit of stuff like that. Just pretty much overall interesting topics that may or may not generate a view or not, but I don't know. He's a great guy, man. He's a ROTC for the Air Force Heritage High School. Melissa Marinville is an expert in her field when it comes to protecting children, when it comes to forensics, dark web, prevention, all that good stuff like that. We promote all those people. They're wonderful in what they do. Let's see who else. All the candidates that we had on our candid conversation, they're all excellent in their own rights, in their own districts, and they all are worthy of a vote if you're not sure who to vote for, or if you're just tired of the incumbent that's already there. All those people came on and they gave what they thought they would stand for, the positions that they want to push, that kind of thing. So we would ask that you turn out for the vote. Primary this time is a big deal in Blount County. Yeah, get out and vote. We got 2 more days, then May 5th. So let's send the Barong golfing. Let's send the Philip Chris golfing. Let's send all of them to golfing. Just show up and vote. Don't care who you vote for. Just show up and vote. It's not my job to tell you who to vote for. Show up and vote. With that being said, thank you. You guys have a blessed evening. And people on the porch, if you don't know who they are, they're a fantastic band. Half of them's from Blount County. They all live out and around Nashville. It's got to be closer to where that industry is at so they can play their music. They've been in the Ryman Theater. They've been at Franklin's Pickin' and Grinning Parlor. What's the name of it? I forget that. Kimbro's. All those kinds of stuff like that. They've been in Dollywood. They've been all over East Tennessee. They're an amazing group of individuals, from fiddler player to banjo, drums, guitar, vocals. They're great. People on the porch. You can find them on Google. Y'all have a good evening. See you Thursday. My show, 7:45, Caught Up, Thursday, where we talk all things nationally, politics. And by the way, Matt Snow, that was an excellent video you talked about the other day, dude. I meant to talk about that when everybody else was on. I forgot. But he did a video of some of the walkways, the bike trails, that kind of thing. Matt Snow, he's on there on Facebook. Check it out. Did you really pay for that kind of stuff? Anyway, check out People on the Porch. Y'all have a good evening.
My heart, pumping all day Get me the morning when darkness comes. My heart, ooh. It takes so long to mend. It's harder to lean on this shell of a man. You found love in the Lord, your family and your friends. Could you please pray for me that I can find the same within? My heart pumping all day long. When the evening comes, please stay strong. Give me the morning when darkness falls. My heart, I found victory in the Father's love from the day we wed, and those vows still hold true. Nothing's gonna tear me down until the damn end. My heart belongs to you. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna head on home before it gets too late. I turn it upside down and be thankful for what he gave. I'm gonna pick my bones up and walk through the storm I made. I'm gonna hold on tight to you when it gets rough. I'm gonna lay down all my cards and call your bluff. Because the one thing in this moonlit room I trust is the beauty of your smile and the warmth inside your touch. Oh, there's nothing like a love, nothing like a love of a woman. The way she holds you tight, way she holds you tight when you need it most. You just that little bit, just to keep on living. And that's when you find out what you're made of. you're my maid. I'm gonna hold on tight to you when it gets rough. I'm gonna lay down all my cards and call your bluff. Because the one thing in this moonlit room I trust is the beauty of your smile and the warmth inside your touch. Oh, there's nothing like love of a woman. The way she holds you tight, when you need it most. It gives you just that little bit, just to keep on living. And that's when you find out what you're made of. That's when you find out. That's when you find out what you're made of. My heart is like a lighthouse, just trying to get you home. Your soul is like an anchor, just dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I'm saying. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. We were younger when we first laid eyes. I was walking up in heaven's skies. How about you? Did you feel it too? Don't believe in love at first sight. Now you make me wanna change my mind. How about you? Oh, how about you? My heart is like a lighthouse, just trying to get you home. Your soul is like an anchor, dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I'm saying. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this song. soul is like an anchor, just dragging you along. Pay no mind to what I'm saying. I've been drinking all day long. I just wanna hold you while we dance to this wanna hold you while we dance to this song. Walking a gray line in a world that's black and white. Wondering why things they did not turn out quite right. Please believe me, please don't leave me. I said I'm sorry, didn't you hear me? The rain, the rain, the rain is falling slow. It's cold, we know. We're standing in it too. You're there, your hair is soaking wet. Please take my jacket. Take it. Please believe me. Please don't leave me. I said I'm sorry. Didn't you hear me? Please believe me. Please don't leave me now. I said I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry. Didn't you hear me? The rain, the rain, the rain is falling slow. It's cold, we know. We're standing in it too. You're there, your hair is soaking wet. Please take my jacket. You look better in it anyway. You look better in it anyway. Just take it. Just take it. Watching you go through it. You're living, you're loving, you're laughing, you're playing, you're singing, you're dancing in the dark. You're dancing in the dark. I said I'm sorry. You're dancing in the dark. Dancing in the dark. I said I'm sorry. You're dancing in the dark. When it's always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my own. Life, it isn't always grand, but when you finally take that stand, you become a man. You needed to be guess people just do what they want. Time, it goes faster every day, and my heart, it leads the way, while the future, it fades into a memory. Is always at my back. My back is always strapped with these things that I call my